Hey, Happy New Year, and welcome to another embodied movement session with me. Today I want to talk about the hands and the acupressure mat again. Last week I shared how I use the mat with my feet, and I want to share how I use the mat with my hands. So let's talk about the hands for a moment. If you tend to hold any kind of tension in your hand, whether it's from maybe climbing or typing or playing instruments, the acupressure mat is a great way to help open up the hand. So my thumb pad can get pretty sore if I'm using my phone a lot. I tend to use my right thumb a lot. So I probably use this mat every day. I will use it on my hand. I will also use it on my forearm, right? Ooh, that feels nice, because tension in the hand can go into the forearm and the shoulder and vice versa. I'm going to think about the whole hand, and I often will coach this when I'm teaching embodied movement, that can you feel load in your whole hand? So often when we are loading, example, if we are in all fours, right? Or if we are in our downward dog, right? Or whatever we're doing, side plank. Anytime that you're loaded, your hands are flat onto the ground, most of us tend to, or what I've noticed is most load is immediately just through the heel of the hand, right? And the elbow locks out and the weight just drops into the heel of the hand, right? And so the arm is not really getting integrated into the core. So a lot of the work and the strength has to come from the forearm and the outer shoulder muscles. However, when you learn how to feel the load in the whole hand, the elbow actually kind of softens versus locking, right? And then the arms get connected, the upper arm bone gets connected to the shoulder blade, right? The shoulder girdle. So then, like as I'm feeling load through my pinky side of my hand, through the index, and it's not from me pushing, right? It is the actual skin and fascia softening and opening, and the domes of my hand actually lift, right? And that creates a doming kind of the armpit, where the arm is really getting connected into the shoulder girdle, right? And that allows me just to feel stronger. And I'm actually feeling more of like this upper core sensation, or this tone from loading in the hand. I can feel it through the shoulder blade and even to the front of the kind of upper mid spine, so that I have a lot more ease, right? When I'm loading, there's a rebound of energy of end of the arm that comes back in, right? But that has, in order for that to happen, the hand has to learn how to open, right? So starting with the fingertips, we have fingertips and knuckles and the ball of the hand and the heel of the hand. And we're gonna start with the fingertips, and I'm just gonna kind of peel my hand down. So fingers, ball of the hand, pinky side and index finger side. Then I'm gonna make my way to the heel of my hand. So you notice the dome of your hand may never connect, right? Unless you have a really, really open hand. And then the heel of the hand, and thumb side and pinky side, right? So when I start to load a little bit more weight, right? I'll know where the weight is, because I'm gonna get more, usually I'll get more spiky sensation. Again, unless you have a lot of tension in that area, because places we hold a lot of tension, sometimes we'll be more sensitive, and also if we're overloading in one part of the hand, okay? But this will help teach you or give you the awareness of what the hand and loading and sensation of the skin and the bone weight, and how to feel that just get more distributed more evenly, right, in the whole hand. So multitasking, we're gonna add like a side spinal extension or flexion. So I'm gonna inhale my right arm up. I'm gonna find my sit bones. I'm gonna find my tail. right? I'm weighted on my sit bones. However, my tail is still heavy, so the more my tail drops, the more I feel lift of my pubic bone, right? Why do I need to find my core here? Well, that's gonna help you not load so much weight through your hand, right? Then you get that feeling of how to move from your core, because there are spikes, and your hand will tell you if you tend to just dump your weight in your hand and collapse, right? So the more my shoulders can kind of descend, I'm even noticing some weight through the opposite hip, right? And as I come up, I'm gonna spiral that hand and wrist around, and that spiraling, again, opens up hand and wrist, right? And then I'll take the mat to the other side. And I'm gonna feel for my fingers, feel for the knuckles, feel for the ball of the hand, feel for the heel of the hand, right? And then I wanna find my whole orientation, my head, my heart, right? My whole pelvis, where the bladder sits, where the lungs sit, right? Everything in between. And I want to just pause for a moment before I start adding active movement. I want to get connected to the roots, right, of my upper core, or the portal. So as I'm feeling this whole hand, I'm trying to feel the load and the equal sensation of spikes here, right? And I'm noticing this side has a little bit more tension through the forearm, so I'm going to kind of play with settling into that. Good. And then I'll add inhaling. This arm reaches up. When I reach even more, like I'm side hinging, I'm not collapsing, right? That's going to evoke more inner core, right? And my left elbow is just going to be heavy and lower, right? And this arm does like a cartwheel, my upper arm, and I'm going to just play with feeling the spiral movement from the hand. Okay? And then once my hand comes down without the spiky mat, I can get a feel for ball of the hand, pinky side of the hand, thumb side, index finger. So my hand may now get to sense the floor a little bit differently. So I could just kind of play with cartwheeling, right? But as I'm reaching, I'm noticing how I'm loading, how my hand is sensing the floor, right? And again, am I dumping, or am I finding my roots through my sit bones and tail? And of course, the breath. Okay. And so after you do this, I would say do this like 3 to 5 times. You can load and do the same side, spiraling. You could do the same side. I like to go back and forth, but if you go back and forth, you have to like pick up your mat, or you can just buy 2 mats and have a mat on each side to go back and forth. You can always keep it in front, right? So I can walk and kind of cat paw my hands forward, cat pawing. Again, I'm looking for fingers, ball of the hand, and heel of the hand, okay? And from there, I can even go into an all-fours position, right? And if I want to increase even more awareness through the hands, if that felt tolerable, right? It depends on how spiky your spikes are. I can do a couple movement sessions or movement patterns, right? In this position, right? So again, I want to feel equal load. Cat-cow, exhale. Inhale, long spine. Feeling that equal load through the hands, arms getting connected to the shoulder blades. Exhale. Equal load in the knees, equal load in the hands. Good. And any other little all-four shapes, you could take that into your kind of fish shape or spirals. And my hands are telling me they are done, right? So I have a mat that's a little bit lighter, less spikes. That one's a little more intense. But this is what your hands will look like. There we go. And that is normal. Okay, so I've got spikes all through my hands. It lets me know that I actually did load through my whole hand.